Welcome back, and I know that the first introduction video has left you with several, and if not loads of questions and thought-provoking concepts and ideas. And during this video, we're going to endeavor to approach the first very concept of God does not cut off your rough edges to make you good and or perfect. And so let's begin this by reflecting on the words of Jesus in John the 15th chapter. Jesus said, "I am the true grapevine, and my Father is the vine dresser or the gardener. You are the branches." Now, by result of this video, I'm going to be paraphrasing and yet sticking to the exact words and multiple translation of these words of Jesus. So the first idea I want to leave you with is the idea of the three personality mentioned in this first two verses of John 15. One is the personality of Jesus as the vine. Two is the personality of God as the vine dresser, that is, the owner, the gardener, and the one who takes care of the vine, not the branches. It's important to pay that little attention to the words of Jesus. All right? The third is the personality of you and I as the branches. So, what do we mean by God does not cut off your rough edges to make you good and perfect? Jesus, in his word, said he is the vine, and in fact, emphasis should be given to the word true grapevine, meaning outside of this true grapevine, there are possible grapevine or those who claim themselves to be. However, the true grapevine in this case is Jesus. And that is an entirely nuance that we are not able to touch on, what it means by Jesus being a true grapevine in the midst of other grapevines. And looking over the years now, as we look at different branches of religious worships and the concepts of God in different areas. But back to our subject matter. You are the branches, and the Father is the gardener. Now, let's pay attention to what the Father or the gardener does. One, he dresses the vine. In other words, he takes care of the vine. Now, the presupposition in this action of taking care of the vine is him being the vine dresser ought to have taken care of the garden in the process of taking care of the vine. Hence the name, the gardener. Now, what does he do to the branches? And the branches are part of the vine. They are not independent. In fact, we are warned in verse 5 and 6 that when the branches are cut off, they are of no use. But back to verse 2, 3, and 4. He cuts off every branch that does not produce fruit. And here comes the jackpot you may have been waiting for. To understand, God does not cut off rough branches. So, this branch does not abide to the vine. This branch does not go hand in hand with the vine. In other words, rejects the life-giving transmission from the vine to the branch. It's rejected or denied by the branch. What does the gardener do? He cuts that branch off the vine. Notice, he does not cut the rough edges of that branch. He cuts the entire branch off. And if we apply that same concept to what Jesus taught throughout, we will understand the parables, and especially one of the most prominent question in the 21st century with Christianity, that is the last day, the resurrection and the judgment. And we can, friends, see that this very concept could pretty much answer and establish what Jesus meant by the last day. He does not cut off rough edges. He cuts the entire branch off the vine. Remember the story of the wise virgin. When it was locked, the master said, "It is too late." Remember the story of those who came on the last day and said, "We ate and drank with you, and you preach in our street. We actually heal in your name." Notice what Jesus said the response was. "Get away from me, you all you who do evil. I don't know you or where you come from." If we understand that this teaching in John 15 is interconnected with the concept of the last day of resurrection and judgment, then we can understand, friends, that the idea of feeling or thinking we have some rough edges in us that need to be cut off so we can better please God is just an illusion that will never be fixed. Therefore, we can experience incredible, amazing freedom, knowing that God will instead prune you than cut off your rough edges. As a matter of fact, to prove to you you have no rough edges, your life goes through pruning. And now let's explain that concept now, shall we? Jesus said, to the branch that produces, God prunes. This is incredible, friends. This is amazing. So if you're faithful, trustworthy, you feel weak sometimes, confused sometimes, not sure sometimes, but yet not quitting. You are that branch that produces. Why can you be so sure that you are that branch that produces? Because the branch has no capacity to produce fruit by itself. So if the branch is alive, seeking, hungry, wishing, longing, asking, praying, crying, weeping, desiring, it's enough indication that the branch is still connected to the vine, meaning fruits still abound. Yet the branch might not be aware. Now, watch what happened. And if you are going through this, it is even more so proof upon proof that you are that wonderful, precious branch of God. Because of the magnitude of productivity which the gardener, the wine dresser, is anticipating. He goes to the vine. Look at the branches that are useless. Cut them off. Look at the branches that are most precious and important, valuable, capable of expressing the abundance, incredible, unlimited productivity. He prunes in order to protect the branch from breaking off when the massive harvest shows or come through. How are we sure of this? Well, because the gardener knows exactly the capacity of the vine. The vine is all aware of the capacity within, but the branches are just the transmitter or the expression of the capacity that lies within the vine. You and I, my friend, are only an expression of God's capacity through Christ Jesus. If you're feeling or going through or experiencing some rough, challenging moments, it might seem you're being pruned for a great harvest to come. And the question that one should then ask is, why are you being pruned? And the answer is simple. Because the harvest coming is beyond your ability to handle it if you are not getting pruned now. Finally, as we wrap up this concept, without going into the extension of this whole teaching on this concept, we can discover that God's way of pruning is actually to protect the branch from breaking off when the massive harvest is released through the branch. This is God's way of protecting and preventing you from burnout, from breaking off when the season of abundance that is ahead of you comes. And I can assure you, my friend, without this pruning preparation, our ability to walk away when the abundance is given to us increases. But with the pruning process in place, our ability to stand and not quit or be misled because we have now abundance is limited. Why? Because the days of pruning were the excellency of God's protection and the days of gaining divine wisdom, understanding, perspective, and the fear of the Lord. I pray that in this season of your pruning, wherever you are, may the joy of the Lord strengthen you internally, empower you, your heart, spirit, and your mind, so that you will become even more hopeful, tenacious, empowering. Knowing this, you are valuable. You are God's favorite. And you are God's pride. And because you are this, He is so much in anticipation, preparing you for the great release of abundance that He has in store for you, my friend. Watch and testify. Aloha and shalom.